I believe all three could defeat Davis. That is something I firmly think. But that's why they get into fights. Even though Gervonta Davis is feeling quite confident following his most recent victory, several boxing experts believe that forcing a bout with Shakur Stevenson would be a grave mistake for him. It's game over for Tank after one error. Haney fights really well. He is extremely talented and skilled. He's bigger than these men, too. They believe that Shakur Stevenson would not only put up a fierce battle but also use his technique and talent to overcome Gervonta Davis. After his huge victory against Frank Martin, Gervonta Davis solidified his reputation as the face of boxing. Nevertheless, oddly, a lot of boxing pros still believe something will go wrong when he fights Shakur Stevenson. Is he the best fighter? He asks. His contract, I understand, is about to expire, so maybe we can work together to move him to the next level and give him the bouts he deserves. Fans of Tank Davis are extremely surprised by this development and find it absurd that Shakur Stevenson, who faced Edwin de los Santos in one of the worst fights of the year, thought he would have a chance against the knockout king of boxing, Gervonta Tank Davis. For numerous individuals, Shakur Stevenson's final bout with Frank Martin served as sufficient proof of the devastation he would do Tank Davis if they ever faced each other in a ring. Martin was in the lead when the fight started. Ignoring Martin's nickname Ghost, Davis even strolled out to the Ghostbusters theme song, winning exchanges in 3 rounds while staying well away from his legendary opponent. The battle was more evenly balanced in the 4th and 5th rounds, but in the 7th, Davis's momentum suddenly shifted dramatically in his favor. You decide who's better after you enter the ring. Shakur defeats him, in my view. Teofimo wins, in my opinion. And in my opinion, Lomachenko defeats him, an analyst stated. Even though Martin had the advantage in the scorecard, Davis's powerful blows were connecting sufficiently that the end was certain. When the bout was over, Davis remarked, I knew that he was going to tire out. I was just standing there, making myself an easy target to let him exhaust himself. And I began dissecting him when he had exhausted himself. Davis looked quite good in his previous match. He fulfilled his obligations. Without a doubt, a rematch is possible. Later, hopefully. Martin explained his lack of speed as a result of getting too comfortable rather than exhaustion. For the most part of the subsequent rounds, he retreated from Davis and became vulnerable. I felt like in the beginning I was in control, then got a little too comfortable, Martin stated. I settled in to relax on the ropes while searching for a better angle. It was not making itself clear. I gave up on my movement. He was able to make more shots once I stopped moving in that way. Fascinatingly, Gervonta Davis is prepared to take on every elite fighter in the lightweight division, from Teofimo Lopez to Shakur Stevenson, and from Vasily Lomachenko, Pitbull Cruz, Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney. In fact, after his decisive victory over Frank Martin, Gervonta Davis reignited a long-standing rivalry that the public had long called for. When asked which fight he wanted to take on next, an interviewer questioned him every one of them. He was also asked who of Ryan Garcia and Isaac Pitbull Cruz he would choose to face again. And he said, both. He mentioned Isaac Cruz in particular, saying he looked bright in his last battle. He fulfilled his obligations. Without a doubt, a rematch is possible. Ideally, this will happen eventually. In response, Davis said, I just want to get back in the gym and stay focused, but Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson, and Pitbull Cruz are on my radar. When asked when he will return and against whom, yes, but I had no idea he was that powerful. Another commentator stated, he let my arms go for how does that make you feel tonight, James Toney? The face of boxing is you. Thanks for that, dude. We must continue it. Regretfully, a number of boxing professionals, both former and current competitors whose experience and understanding inside the ring ought to be apparent in their evaluations, have counseled Gervonta Davis to stay away from Shakur Stevenson if he wants to protect his name. Floyd Mayweather emphasized that Shakur Stevenson's primary fighting advantages over Gervonta Davis are his technique and skill. Floyd Mayweather was able to caution Gervonta Davis about Shakur Stevenson, who he maintained was the greatest skilled boxer in the business, even in the thick of their feud. Despite having a close friendship with Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather made his decision when he selected Shakur Stevenson over the latter. Floyd Mayweather said, "As of right now, well, the two guys, the biggest puncher I feel at 135 will probably be Gervonta Davis, but the most skilled fighter will be hands down Shakur Stevenson," in response to a question concerning the top 5 competitors in the lightweight class. Take things a step further, and I've always supported him. You can also see that I've been consistently upbeat, complimentary of him, and pushing him to achieve greatness over the years. However, he has been criticizing Floyd and Shakur Stevenson on the internet non-stop over the years. Floyd Mayweather likened Pernell Whitaker, who wasn't the strongest puncher but has the skill set to overcome the best, to Stevenson's dexterity. "I believe his contract is coming to an end, so hopefully, we can come together and I can take him to the levels that he needs and make the fights happen that he wants." But many boxing professionals don't think he's that confident. They think Shakur Stevenson is the poison that will do the necessary harm to his image. "Well, my Uncle Roger, memory loss could be from boxing, or it could just be from something deep in the family," remarked a different analyst. Bob Arum went so far as to advise Gervonta Davis to stay away from not only Shakur Stevenson but also 2 other boxers in his class. Bob Arum also selected Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko as the 2 fighters he thought would defeat Gervonta Davis. Thanks to his memorable wins against Ryan Garcia and, more recently, Frank Martin, Gervonta Davis has found himself the target of attention. Tank won the All-American Super Fight, which brought in a respectable amount of money from ticket sales and pay-per-view purchases. Among the current crop of boxers under 30, Davis is without a question the most intriguing. As a result, a lot of his competitors in his weight class are keeping a close check on him in hopes of stealing his job and compensation. I think the division was overrated since they weren't fighting each other, but there are a lot of excellent fighters in it, so make sure I'm at the top of my game. However, there are many excellent fighters now that they are engaged in combat, stated another analyst. Point 3 of Tank's opponents are in the ranks of legendary promoter Bob Arum's top-ranked stable. Vasily Lomachenko, a former world champion in 3 weights, is the third. "I believe all 3 could defeat Davis. This week," Arum told reporters, "I genuinely think that. But for that reason, they engage in combat. To see who is superior, they enter the ring. Shakur defeats him, in my view. Teofimo wins, in my opinion. And Lomachenko, in my opinion, wins. I believe that all 3 could defeat Davis. That is something I firmly think. But that's why they get into fights. You enter the ring and try to outdo each other. Shakur defeats him, in my view. Teofimo wins, in my opinion. I also believe Lomachenko defeats him. Well, Tank Davis is an excellent fighter, and he's a big attraction." When asked if he thought Davis was the real deal, Arum said, "I think he is the real deal. That's the reason we're discussing him. In addition to being an amazing athlete and fighter, he is a terrific performer. However, the other 3 males you mentioned are also." A number of reporters got in touch with Timothy Bradley, the previous world champion in the 2 divisions. They wanted to hear his opinion of Shakur Stevenson's chances of defeating Gervonta Davis on July 6 of next month, should a fight break out. Stevenson will make his first defense of the title in the ring. Artem Harutyunyan, a German-Armenian boxer, will be his opponent. Conversely, Davis overcame Frank Martin by an early stoppage, which is his preferred method. After taking Ryan Garcia out, the Baltimorean came back after more than a year. There have been rumors of a possible match between Tank Davis and IBF champion Vasily Lomachenko since Davis's victory on June 15. Most people think that the Baltimorean will maintain his winning record against the 36-year-old Olympic gold medalist if their battle happens. Thus, there's a chance Gervonta Davis will carry on his drive for title unification. Although I believe the category was overvalued since the competitors weren't competing with one another, I'm at the top of my game because there are many excellent fighters in it. But there are many excellent warriors now that they are engaged in combat. He may therefore be making a claim to Shakur Stevenson's WBC belt with this maneuver. Still, there's one that seems to have many people stumped.